You don't get to the top without a ruthless streak, and Formula One world champion Max Verstappen has never held back in that department. The Dutchman has won his first world title after defeating 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton last season, after 6 seasons in the sport in which he appears to have verbally abused many of his competitors, his engine, and even stewards on his way to fulfilling a lifelong dream. Verstappen, of course, is not alone in this regard. There's rarely a race weekend that goes by without a driver somewhere in the grid expressing frustration, and this includes some of the sport's greatest drivers, including other active world champions Lewis Hamilton, Fernando Alonso, and Sebastian Vettel. With that in mind, let's check out some of the incidents from the Dutchman during his Formula One career. Toro Rosso tirade in Australia 2016. Back in 2016, Verstappen was getting his elbows out just 1 year into his Formula One career. When he was 18, he was driving for the unfancied Toro Rosso team and qualified 5th in the Australian Grand Prix. After holding his position at the start of the race, his afternoon quickly unraveled when a botched pit stop dropped him down the order. On the radio, he told the team that he had problems with the tires, and that's why he wanted to pit first. This was before he muttered a few explicitives. To make matters worse, he got stuck behind teammate Carlos Sainz and was denied a team order request to be let through before spinning after colliding with the Spaniard's car. Verstappen referred to his team strategy as a joke before finishing the day in 10th place. Crazy Vettel in Malaysia 2016. Let's move on to the same year in Malaysia. Verstappen does not always need to be directly involved before attacking other drivers. The Dutchman had a front row seat to an opening lap crash at Sepang's first corner, which saw Sebastian Vettel recklessly crash into title challenger Nico Rosberg, sending the German to the back of the pack. Verstappen stated over his team radio that Sebastian was crazy for crashing into Rosberg like an idiot. He later added that Sebastian wanted to win the race in the first corner, which he called ridiculous. Verstappen had taken a few verbal jabs from Vettel earlier in the season, and the then Ferrari driver hinted that Verstappen's race behavior had contributed to the crash. 2017 United States, last lap podium denied. Verstappen delivered a typical aggressive performance, charging his way from 16th on the grid to 3rd on the road after forcing his way past Ferrari's Kimi Räikkönen on the final lap. The Dutchman then went to the green room, where race winner Lewis Hamilton and second-place driver Sebastian Vettel were waiting to take their places on the podium. However, stewards ruled that his pass over Räikkönen occurred off the track, resulting in a time penalty and a drop to 4th place. Even though it appeared to be the correct decision, Verstappen did not take it lightly. He said that they had a really great race, but it's these kinds of stupid decisions that kill the sport. He said that there was one idiot steward up there who always made bad decisions for him. After all, he claimed, there were no track limits and everyone was running wide everywhere. He said it was the same with Valtteri Bottas. He went for a move and he continued outside the track, and when he came back, he really had to pass him, and nothing was done against that while he definitely gained an advantage. He said that this is not good for the sport and that they needed to make it very clear in the rules that it's not permitted. And he hoped one would come in the near future because the sport just didn't make sense like that. Hungary 2018. Problems with early retirement. Now, the 2018 season would be extremely frustrating for Red Bull, who was plagued by reliability issues with their power unit. Verstappen failed to finish 4 races this year, the 4th of which occurred in Hungary when his engine failed after only 6 laps. When the Dutchman announced he had no power coming out of turn 1 at the Hungaroring, he was in 5th place behind the Mercedes and Ferrari cars. After being told to pull up, Verstappen exclaimed, "Mate, really? Shouldn't I just keep going? I don't mind if this engine explodes. What a prank." Every time. Honestly, this is... While Verstappen did not retire for the remainder of the season, it was not surprising to see Red Bull switch from Renault-supplied engines to Honda-supplied engines, pushing Ocon after an on-track collision in Brazil in 2018. Verstappen was on his way to winning the Brazilian Grand Prix in 2018 when he was thrown into a spin by Racing Point driver Esteban Ocon, who was clumsily attempting to unlap himself entering turn 2 at Interlagos. Ocon was given a 10-second stop-go penalty for the incident, but it cost Verstappen the victory as Hamilton won instead. Verstappen was fuming over the radio while on his cooldown lap, announcing his intention to track down the Frenchman, saying, quote, "I'm hoping I can't find him in the paddock right now because that guy has an effing problem," end quote. He also wasn't joking. Verstappen confronted Ocon before pushing him 3 times in front of other stunned drivers as the drivers queued for post-race weighing before the officials pulled Ocon away from the Dutchman. The FIA predictably was not pleased with Verstappen's behavior, and race stewards punished him post-race for deliberate physical contact, requiring him to perform 2 days of public service for the governing body as punishment. In practice, Hamilton enraged the United States in 2021. Verstappen doesn't even need a race to express his rage, as Hamilton played mind games with him at the US Grand Prix last season. During a practice session as the Mercedes driver forced his way past Verstappen, the Dutchman used his team radio to mock him, calling him a stupid idiot and raising his middle finger. Hamilton, when later informed about Verstappen's actions, said that the core of everything has to be respect, and that he tries to stay positive and calm while also remaining respectful to the drivers he's fighting. And if he has a mental image of what they are, he doesn't share it. Abu Dhabi 2021 rant on safety cars. Maybe not his biggest rant, but Verstappen's discontent was palpable over the radio as he watched his world championship slip away at the 2021 Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, after Nicholas Latifi's crash brought out a now famous late safety car. It appeared Verstappen would have a chance to attack Lewis Hamilton late in the race and attempt an overtake that would secure him the championship if the race restarted. However, as the laps ticked away, it was announced that lapped cars behind the safety car and between Hamilton and Verstappen would not be allowed to overtake on a restart on the final lap, effectively giving Hamilton a procession lap on his way to the championship. Verstappen expressed his displeasure with the decision, saying, "Yeah, of course, typical decision." However, race director Michael Masi dramatically reversed his decision, allowing only lap cars to overtake, resulting in a one-lap head-to-head battle between the title contenders. Everything else is history. Leclerc's sparring in 2022 Bahrain, Round 1. Verstappen's last outburst at the season-opening Grand Prix in Bahrain can be traced back to the previous Formula 1 race. It was a bad start to the World Champion's title defense, and he quickly became frustrated with his team's conservative request that he not push his tires in his battle to pass Leclerc during 2 pit stop phases. On the radio, the Ferrari driver said that this was now 2 times that he had to take it easy on the outlap, that he could have been in front, and that he was never going to do it again. 12 laps later, Verstappen became even more frustrated when his steering failed, prompting him to yell at his team after they asked if he needed to pit. "No, just tell me what's wrong and I'll do my best," Verstappen replied. When he was told his allegedly failing battery was fine 5 laps from the finish, the Dutchman retorted, "No, it's not! What the is this?" he exclaimed before being forced to retire due to a fuel pump failure. P.S. He also has karting experience with Leclerc. Verstappen has also been frustrated by Leclerc's driving several times this season. Back in 2012, the old rivals had been competing in a karting event, with Verstappen being led away by his father, and ex-F1 racer Jos Verstappen brandishing the current Ferrari's star driving as unfair. "Nothing happened, it was just an incident," said Leclerc. Well, at this point it's pretty evident that Verstappen has always been a topic to talk about when it comes to various F1 outbursts. But what do you think of Max? Do you think that next season will be at least a bit more peaceful? Share your thoughts in the comment section below, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe for more amazing content. Hope to see you in the next one. Until then, bye.